Hi there, I'm back again and ready to talk about my life makeover challenge that I'm doing with my friend in the Netherlands. We both had a few weeks where we were traveling, busy with babies and grandchildren, etc., but we managed to get through the next few chapters. And then we did chapter 8, which was about what is fueling you. And you'd think it'd be about energizing you, but actually it's quite the opposite. It is about what is draining you because your adrenaline is getting pushed higher and higher and higher by a constant influx of information via technology, via emails, via news, you name it. Now, this book came out 20 years ago. Things were a lot different 20 years ago. And in talking with my friend and exchanging our ideas on these things, one of the biggest things that stood out for me was, if we thought it was crazy then, whoa, is it ever crazier now? So I wanted to take a look at what it was like for me 20 years ago doing this book versus what it is like for me doing this book and this challenge 20 years later, because there's a vast amount of difference. And yet the solutions are really about the same. So I'll have to throw on my glasses. I'm not wearing contacts. As you can hear, I'm a little bit throaty today. I have cedar fever. It's a big thing in Central Texas. We just get inundated with lots of pollen. There's a ton of these cedar trees in my area, and for some reason this year it's hitting me hard. So throwing on my glasses, I'm going to talk to you about what it was like for me in the 20 years ago in my early 40s, just to compare and contrast. So 20 years ago, the biggest things that we had were like emails and the phone, answering machine. Flip phones, I think, were just beginning to become a thing. MySpace was a new social media kind of thing. I never did it. It required programming expertise, which is not my strong point. I think maybe my daughter at the time managed to get herself a MySpace without my knowledge, because she is that kind of person. She figured it out because she's smart with those kind of things. I am not. So then the other thing was to answering machines, voicemail, flip phones were a thing, making phone calls. At the time, I was like, oh, gotta get my emails, gotta answer promptly, gotta do this, gotta do that. And I was answering them as they came in. I was constantly checking my emails. So one of the biggest drains I had and one of the biggest adrenaline pushes I had was answering machines and emails. So how I coped with it then was I just decided I'm not going to do emails all day long. I'm going to set a time and do them then. Occasionally you have to do them at a time that you don't want to do them, but I decided then that it's better to just answer and reply later when you have time to think, after you've done all your other work. At the time, I was just beginning to write. I was just beginning to develop my writing career, and I was also very involved in my daughter's school. I was often alone with her because my husband traveled a lot. The physicist had a very high demand job, and it was a high demand area. We lived in the Fairfax, Virginia area. So we had tons going on, a lot of things. And I was on like PTA and HOAs and just juggling all the different things. So the best way for me to tune all that out and to control it was literally to take control back. And that was to pick a time after I had completed my work that didn't interfere with my daughter's life, that didn't interfere with my husband's life, and that didn't interfere with my goals and my life. So I chose very quickly to do all my emails after I accomplished my work in the morning. That stands true today. I often don't do any computer work other than my writing or revising until after I've completed all my work. So that was a big one. The other thing is news. I'm a news junkie. I always have been. I think in another life, on another planet, or maybe this one, had my life gone a different direction or trajectory, I had always wanted to be a journalist, a news journalist. I wanted to be a reporter. I wanted to go into war zones, which probably wouldn't have been a very good thing, but those were my goals and my ambitions. And I love news. I love digesting it. I love analyzing it. I love looking at the different angles of it. I can remember pouring through the left side, right side, left-leaning, right-leaning magazines and newspaper columns and editorials. My dad was very much the same way. And so the only thing is, he started with the cartoons and the comics, and I always finished with them, because God knows you'd need a laugh after the news, even then. So that was the other thing. I had to control the news. I had to control how I was ingesting it. And quite frankly, that is still the truth today. The news comes at us far faster. It comes at us from multiple different directions. It comes at us via social media. It comes at us via regular news. It comes at us via podcasts. And so my attitude about the news, especially in this time, is I don't listen to the news or read the news headlines or pursue the news until after, again, I have accomplished everything that I need to accomplish for the day. And that always is first taking care of my wellness, taking care of my writing, taking care of any studying I'm doing, taking care of any business that I need to do that provides me joy, happiness, and a future. The news can wait, just like a lot of things. It's not going to change in 5 minutes. Sometimes it can, but I can find out about it 5 minutes later. So that's the same thing this year as it was 20 years ago. I really have learned to adjudicate the news because it cannot control me. Only I can control how I take it in. The other thing is we had flip phones back then. So basically all it was phone calls. I'm a long distance call junkie. I was back then. Now everybody texts, but still to have the most meaningful conversations, it's still by phone, by having a real conversation where you can hear the person that you have called, where you can hear what they have to say, the tone of the voice. You can really go deeper into discussion. You're not worrying about going super fast with your thumbs on the little text thing. And I prefer actually still today long distance phone calls, but I know people are busy, so sometimes you just have to take what you can get. That being said, we had answering machines in the day. And I've always had a rule, and still do, even with cell phones, and they're pretty smart right now, that just because the phone rings doesn't mean you have to answer. It's not a summons. It's a phone ringing. You control whether or not you answer the phone. Invariably, if we sat down to dinner, which I call a sacred time, even if it's just me and the physicist now, the phone would ring. And my husband would be like, the physicist is like, oh my God, I got to get the phone. I'm like, no, you don't. You can let the answering machine pick it up. And if it's really important, they'll call again, or we'll hear it on the answering machine and we will respond accordingly at the proper time. After we have enjoyed our meal that I have spent time cooking and making for you. And frankly, I consider it rude. I also consider it rude if you have cell phones at the table, unless it's super important and you're looking information up and you're joking around and you're saying, oh, how do I find this? How do I find that? What do you remember so-and-so's who did what thing during what movie a million years ago? So it's perfectly okay to use them, but you're there having a meal with your friends, with your family, with your husband, with your significant others. You don't need to have your cell phone going at the same time. So I consider that a no cell phone zone as well. So answering machines at the time, again, you take control of the situation. Then and now, I still do the same thing. The phone does not control me. I control the phone. The other thing that I really feel is quite different is 20 years ago, we didn't have a lot of social media. And it was okay. I wish we didn't have a lot of social media now. It is a blessing and a curse because if you have social media, you can keep in touch with your people who live in different time zones much easier. Like I have a friend, my bestie, who lives in the Netherlands. That's a 7-hour time difference. So we can't really call each other all the time and talk about things. So I can WhatsApp her in the morning and she can WhatsApp me in her time zone at her pace, and we can have a conversation in real time without it interfering with her cooking dinner and sitting down with her grandchildren or husband or children or whatever she wants to do. And the same with me. I have things going on in the morning. That's the only time I actually text or WhatsApp is with her in the morning because I know it's a time difference. So again, it is a blessing. Plus, I've been able to watch her children and the children of my multiple friends all over the country, all over the world, grow up and become parents and grandparents. And I'll watch my friends become grandparents. So it's kind of like a nice way to keep up. At the same time, let's just talk about how much social media there really is. There's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, Twitter, now called X, Blue Sky, Discord, Reddit. There's just a ton. And even in authorland, we're told to use social media to reach out to readers. But I just took a course where the instructor was like, you don't have to do all of it. Just do 2 or 3 things that you enjoy doing well. Well, I'm not a TikToker. I've never been proficient at it. I'll never get a good algorithm on TikTok. I might look at a reel on occasion, but in general, I'm just not that girl. I'm not really on Reddit. I will be on Reddit if I'm looking up information for a specific reason, because I love to research and make sure things are true or not true, and I want to confirm things. I'm very much more of a laptop Google kind of girl. And also, I've tried Discord. I've used it, but it's not my cup of tea. I feel like for me personally, most of my friends are on these other channels, Facebook, Messenger. I have the distinct privilege of having two Facebook profiles. One is very personal, which I can keep locked down more easily, and one is public, which is my author profile, and it is in the link below in the description. And I have a Facebook fan page, and I use that for promoting my books and for connecting with readers. I also have a street team, which at times is neglected. I'm trying to be better with that, but sometimes I feel like if I don't have any news to share, why are we sharing it? I also have a newsletter that I sent out whenever I have news to share, book releases, sales, general information. I try not to spam my readers, but those are all the things I have to keep up with. I have a smartphone, which is like a little mini computer. But the thing is, social media can become very, I don't know, it can be used against you. If you get a bad algorithm, you can see a lot of negative things. And I don't want to see negative things. I want to see positive things. I know that there's stuff happening in the world that's not good, but I don't want to have it come to me in those feeds. So I try to keep my personal posts very positive, or just about the books if I'm in my professional world. And I try to keep things about, hey, we took a trip, or we had a fun day, or I went and I voted, which I did yesterday. I early voted. I was so excited to do that. So they're tools. At one point I launched some groups on Facebook and personal world. And this one group had, a Facebook group, a Discord group, a Blue Sky. Oh, that's the other new one, Blue Sky. I've never figured that out. I don't even use it anymore. Blue Sky and did I say Discord? So they had Discord, Facebook group, Blue Sky, and Signal. 4 places to get information. I finally muted it all because I just couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, if I need to know what's going on, I'll just plug into your group when I'm ready. Which brings me to another subject, muting it all. So the cell phones, they're a lot different now. And in addition to that, they have ways to connect with your watches. We have smart watches that my watch is linked to my cell phone. And I think that's great. If something pops up I'd like to know about, then I'm glad I have it. But I turned off the notifications on my phone for most of the part. I turned off the notifications so they wouldn't bump up onto my iWatch. I like my iWatch for telling me if my blood pressure is okay, my beats per minute, and it keeps a sleep record for me. I'm actually not wearing it right now. I don't put it back on again in the morning after I take it off after my night of sleep or non-sleep because I don't want it to interrupt me while I'm making this video. It's just annoying. It's a very useful tool, and that's what it is. It's a tool. It should be used for your benefit and not keep barraging into your world and interrupting your thoughts and making you stop. I've had to tell the physicist numerous times. He's like, whoop, something came, whoop, something came. I'm like, how many ring notifications are you getting from the neighbors down the street? Like he belongs to some neighborhood group. I'm like, you need to turn off those notifications. Again, you control the media. So how I controlled all of that information 20 years ago hasn't really changed. It's just had to be broadened because I have way more ways to get information. Same with the news. I have to really be careful about when I get that information. I even stopped listening to my favorite news station because I don't want to get any negative news on my way to the gym. I want to go to the gym and have a great workout and really have a positive ending to that workout by just chilling out in my little hydro massage chair. I'm not looking at the news. I might check in with my friends, but I'm not going to check in on the news. The news is after all that's done, after my work is done. Again, you have all this technology. You have all of these ways to connect with people, and you have control over when and how you connect with them. One of the things that I have is I have cross-posting with Instagram. I need to go back and double check and make sure I don't have any comments on a more regular basis. I did find like 5 years worth of stuff because I didn't look on my fan page that's attached to my Facebook profile for my work, which is my professional stuff. I'm very careful about curating that. I'm making sure that I comment on the actual profile, but I have been negligent in the Instagram messaging and in the in the Facebook page messaging. So I'm trying to be more proactive about that. One of the ways that has been suggested to me in a course that I just took is, as an author, I have to do all of these things. Some of them I do not like doing. And that's called batching your work. But basically, you pick a time per week, per quarter, per month, whatever, to just batch everything together that you don't like doing and just knock it out in that day. And again, I do that in 25-minute increments, taking 5-minute breaks, standing up, moving around. I can do anything in 25 minutes, stop and get back into it. I do the same thing for my writing and for my revising, unless I'm really on a big roll and getting close to the end of a book or getting close to the end of the revision. So it's just important to, again, control the tools. That is really kind of my main takeaway from all of this, is that we have all these tools, but they are tools and they should be used as tools. They shouldn't control you. You can control them. Otherwise, you'll get an adrenaline push. It'll make your heart rate go faster. It'll make you anxious and just worried and all of these negative things. And who needs extra anxiety and worry in their lives right now? Certainly I don't. So I had rules about cell phones, emails. I kind of went down some rabbit holes with reels for a while there because they're kind of fun and entertaining. But the truth is, reels can be a real time suck, no pun intended. And I don't have time to waste. I'm not 43 even anymore. I'm 63. I need time to get things done. I want to do the most with the time I have on this planet, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. Who knows? We never know when our ticket's going to get punched. And I'm trying to make the most of the time I have on this planet. Which brings me also to another time suck. What fuels me is trolls. There are trolls. Social media is filled with trolls. You can usually identify the trolls in the world as being fake by they don't have a profile picture, say on a Facebook comment, or they don't have, or they're just super negative, the exact opposite of who you are, and they keep coming after you and coming after you and coming after you. Doesn't matter what you say. It's like having a circular argument with a juvenile, or I don't know, somebody who just will not give up. Like they're like a dog with a bone, they won't let go. And they have to be right. Well, guess what? Trolls don't have to live in your world either. You can turn off notifications on a Facebook area where you make comments. You can just turn them off. You can shut out trolls if they're, stalking you or giving you a hard time by blocking them. It's easy enough to do. I just figured out how to block someone in an area where I wasn't sure how to do it, but I had to do it because this person was being malicious and vindictive. So I had to block her. There was no other way around it. I just don't think that that's an appropriate place to have a conversation with me about anything. And certainly not if you don't have a relationship with me. You don't know me. You don't know who I am, really, if you're making negative comments about me and my life. I'm just sitting here trying to live my best life ever. I'm just sitting here trying to reach out to people in a positive way. I'm just sitting here in this chair, whether it's creating a video for my vlog, which is very new and very still in the exploration stage. I really like doing it, and I don't want anybody to rain on my happiness parade. So if people start being like that, well, I can end it. I have control. And that's what it boils down to. Ultimately, if you get a lot of negativity, negative news, negative people, negative anything, you have the ultimate control over it by shutting it down. You're in the power seat. Whether you don't want to get news, you're in the power seat. Whether you don't want to deal with the troll, you're in the power seat. I am sitting in my power seat right now. And I am truth to power right now, saying no troll, no negative news, no nothing that is going to bring me down or rain on my happiness parade, or what I'm trying to do here is going to stop me, because I am in the power seat. So be in the power seat. Take control. Finally, I decided one of the tasks was to find a way to turn the adrenaline pushes off and to turn on the positive energy. Well, the best way to turn on the positive energy is, quite frankly, to unplug. Turn off the electronics, listen to music. Read a paperback. I recently started reading paperbacks only during the day because my eyesight is very bad at night. I'm wearing my glasses today. I had the cedar fever. It kind of made my eyes goopy, so I'm trying to protect them. So I'm not putting in contacts just yet. So apologies for any weird glares, but I'm dealing with sun and these big ass glasses. So I've looked for also positive podcasts. I really like podcasts. I can listen to them in my car. I can learn new things. I found two that I really like. I'm going to put them in the links below in the description. One is Arthur Brooks' Office Hours, and the other one is Michael Gervais, I hope I'm saying that right, The Genius Life. And they cover a lot of different topics. Arthur Brooks talks about the molecular reasons, the cellular reasons why your body reacts to the things it does. He talks about how to create happiness. One of his greatest bits of advice is do not look at your cell phone. It's the 3 times a day thing. First thing in the morning, like just do not look at it. Don't open it. Don't do anything with it. Do not do it during the midday, and don't do it at night before you go to bed. Really, really good, solid advice. And he's got tons of other really good advice in there for how to identify your personality type and how to, be the strongest that you can be based on who you are as an individual, because we're all different. And I really like Michael Gervais. He is a very intelligent man who got into this whole thing because his mother had early onset Alzheimer's, and he was determined to learn all he could to help her and to get through those days. And out of that became this beautiful blog or beautiful podcast. And what I like about his podcast, The Genius Life, is he covers a multitude of health areas where you can strengthen yourself from the inside out. And he does it for both men and women. He actually had a lady on who wrote a book called Aging Like a Girl. I bought the book. I haven't read it yet. There's some very good advice in there for women who are 50 plus. And so I really was curious about that. I loved the podcast. He had another podcast about confidence, how it means with trust, and how you build that trust. He had a guy on there who talked about he works with football teams and athletes and big corporations. And he talked about how you can create your best life by just doing the actions, by just putting yourself in these mindsets. So part of this vlog is actually me trying something very new that I wanted to try, and might actually lead to something else that I want to do, because this is a year of exploration. This is a year of growth. This is a year of becoming my best self for this year and for learning new things. And I'm really excited about the things that I'm learning. And that's the other thing. You can take time out by reading a book about something new. You can listen to an educational podcast. You don't have to listen to the news. Again, you're in the control seat. I love being in the control seat. And I think that's the key. One of the things I promised myself I would do as part of my Life Makeover Challenge this week is to read more from my paperback during the day and just relax and listen to some music. There's no TV on. There's no noise. There's no background. There's no cell phones. There's no computer. There's no laptop. There's no checking anything. There's no scrolling through news feeds on Facebook or anything. There's just me and a book and turning the pages and listening to some light music while the physicist does, well, what the physicist does always, which is math, and maybe doze off in his recliner chair. Again, you are in the control seat. So my biggest takeaway from this year versus 20 years ago is, although we have a way more technology and way more ways to get connected to the world, how we connect to the world can still be the same. How we control how we connect to the world can still be the same. You can take control. You can be in the power seat. You can take in the information when you want. You can eliminate the negative as easily as pushing a button. And you can add in the positive as easily as listening to the positive or looking for the positive. I refuse to let anybody rain on my happiness parade. I hope nobody rains on yours. If you have any fun ideas for how to turn off the negative noise and how to turn on the positive noise, please share them in the comments below. I will look for them. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. I'd love it. And if you want to subscribe, that would be great. But I want this to be a positive community that has positive information and positive feedback, and any negative feedback will not be tolerated. I'm just going to say that out front because I refuse to let anybody rain on any of our happiness parades. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Have a great day, everyone. Cheers and peace out.